And welcome back. This is Grimweird, and of course, my lovely assistant, Zombie Steve. And we are working our way through the Enigmatica 2 Expert mod pack for Minecraft. So today, what we're going to do is a bunch of short chores that we need to work on. So there's probably going to be lots of jump cuts here, so that you don't end up watching me just sort of running around doing boring stuff. So let's go to the first jump cut. So I actually had, last time I showed you that I made a little path to a lava lake down by our base down at Bedrock, which means that we no longer need this lava source out here. I ran out there earlier and knowing I wasn't going to need it and threw water on it, but I forgot that I hadn't updated my pick yet. So my pick is updated, so we're going to run out there and collect a bunch of obsidian for tools and for our next harvest quest. The reason this is a big deal and the reason I'm filming it just for me is because it's going to be the first time we're really doing something significant with the Alamite Global Traveler. And it's also just still fun for me to have, as an old vanilla guy, to have Vein Miner. So the ability to just, nail one obsidian and have it send everything to a chest is just fabulous. But let's jump over there so you don't have to watch me run over there. All right, here we are. This was the little outdoor lava pit that I was grabbing our first few buckets of lava from. A couple things. I already threw some water down and turned a lot of it into obsidian. You can see now the air crystal has a harvest level of osmium, and we are at osmium now. So we can vein mine those. And Global Traveler teleported that right to our chest. And we can also vein mine obsidian. I have not put any haste on my pickaxe yet, and the slime pick head, while having lots of durability and being easy to keep repaired, is not particularly fast, so we'll work on that soon. And boom, there we go. And I don't think I brought any water, but I do have buckets. Also, now that we've got ore flowing, I went ahead and upgraded 2 of my backpacks to gold and 1 to diamond. But let's go ahead and grab this and snag a bit more. Finish this off. I don't think this is too deep, so this will probably take the rest of it. And this little batch of obsidian should give us plenty to make a bunch of more tinker's tools. The obsidian's good enough durability for things like that I'm not going to use often, like a mattock and a comma and an excavator. It'll be fine, especially we'll give them wood handles so that they regenerate. And there we go. And now we'll jump cut. I'm going to run back to my place, and we'll go look and see what Global Traveler did for us. All right, we are back, and we got 61 obsidian. So that's going to be an excellent amount for making tools. Let's see. So I think I'll cut here and set up the next little scene. What else do I need to do? I'll start by making a bunch of tools, but you've already seen Tinker's Construct tools in action, so you don't probably need to watch all that, so I'll be back shortly. And we're back. I did encounter one thing that I wanted to mention. So to make my excavator and my hammer, I'm going to need to upgrade my tool station to a tool forge. But I did just want to point out, because it confused me at first, that the if you mouse over the tool forge, first of all, it says block of steel leaf. So when I first clicked on it and saw that this was my only option, I freaked out a bit. I thought I was going to have to go to Twilight Forest or something weird, which I've never been to and don't know anything about, just to make a tool forge. But then I noticed when I moused over it, it says it can be crafted with any 4 metal blocks. So even though that's a bit odd, so I decided to throw that out there. But since it doesn't need iron blocks, I'm going to go ahead and do it with copper blocks, just because I have a lot more things I need to build with iron right at the moment than I do with copper. So boom, we've got that. Although I did notice when I was playing this around that when I threw this down and it has that copper look, when I picked it up and put it down later, it turned into an iron look. So that sort of wigged me out, but everything was fine. So I've already made an obsidian hatchet, an obsidian mattock, and an obsidian comma. I'm going to go ahead and make let's see, for wood I'm going to need I forget what we need for the excavator. Tough tool rods, plates, okay. So we're going to need, for the head, we want obsidian. For that, we want obsidian. For that, we want wood. And for, oh yeah, we need a plate. More obsidian. And I've just used obsidian for a couple reasons. I'm making an axe because the great wood and the silver wood and some of the other woods that you need like that seem to require an axe at iron or better, and also because it has good durability. So I'm just using it for that. And obsidian is easy to get for repairs if I need to. I can make tons of obsidian if I have to. Alright, so other than a hammer, so my hammer's going to be a bit special. I'm going to want to make it slimy, and I'm going to want to make it have some better durability. So I'll make my hammer in a bit. I'm down to 11 green slime crystals for repairing things, so I don't want to use 8 of them on a hammerhead until I get my presser up and running, which I will hopefully do later this episode. So now that we have a mattock, one of the other things that I want to get accomplished today is to make silk touch for my pickaxe. So we need a silky jewel. We have emeralds from the villagers, but I need 4 of these, and I don't have enough strings, so what I thought I would do is make my industrial hemp patch, accelerate it with bone meal, and then bash out some strings. So I'm going to pause here and go get all that set up and then show you what it came to. Be right back. Alright, we're back. I used my new excavator to take the top off of this little area, topsoil off of this little area, to flatten it out and make it a bit broader. Making something just really simple and easy here. I don't need a ton of crops right now, and by the time I need a ton of crops, I will have machines that will help me do it. So this is just some real basic crops here just to get me started on a few things. I already made one batch of, I already laid down about, I think I had 11 seeds. I force grew them with bone meal, and then planted the 22 seeds that resulted. I had like about 49 industrial hemp, which I then turned into string. So we should be ready to roll here to make our silk touch gem. And I just threw up a fence around it real quick just to keep animals out of it and etc. All right, so what were we doing? We were doing this. And yes, we have enough to make our 4 of these. And get some of that out of the way. Oh, this was the important safety tip that I thought of. So I used my new excavator, so that was fun. Took a little dirt off the top. And I used my new mattock to turn the grass blocks into farmland. And I got 5 worms from actually additions. So that was an important safety tip that I wanted to bring up because we are not there yet, but when we start moving down actually additions, worms is one of the gates and one of the loot chests that you get. But what I found when I was playing around with this before this playthrough was that I got some worms and I put them down and they disappeared. So they only stuck around for a little while. I don't know if that was a bug or if it's intended in an expert mod or if that's just the way worms are now. I thought worms used to last forever. Because that happened to me twice, because I put more worms down and the more worms disappeared as well. And then when I got to this gate and this reward, I had to go find more worms. So because of that, I am just going to throw these worms in a box until after I get the actually additions gate for that and the reward for having worms. I have so much access to bone on this biome so plenty that it's not like I super need worms right at the moment anyway. If I needed to accelerate more crops, I could run back out and there's probably like 30 more bone blocks out there that I could use, and that's just in that one dinosaur bone deposit. Alrighty, so anyway, that's just an important safety tip. And I have emeralds over here. Oh, and I was looking through my bags and I found out I had a lot more diamonds than I expected, so I went ahead and updated my backpacks all the way to diamond. So that's nice. We went from leather to diamond in an hour or so. And these are pretty nice when they're diamond. Again, I'm not familiar with that other backpack one with the frames and the top, middle, and lower. I should figure that out at some point. But these are pretty nice, so these will get the job done. So now we're going to go ahead and make this silk touch. There's a couple of reasons I'm doing that. One, I need a lot of stone, and I'm getting sick of putting it in the furnace to repair cobblestone into stone. Because if I want to, put some nice stone floors and walls and ceilings in my underground fort, I want to make some stone bricks or chisel the stone into some other pattern, as opposed to using cobblestone. And then also there's just going to be a lot of things I want to do. You can see my level is at 33, and that's going to be going up pretty fast now that I have osmium on my pickaxe. And I want to start burning through that experience, which means I need to get an enchanting table going because I now have access to obsidian. And I want to head to one of these villages that are near me and silk touch a bunch of bookshelves to use. So, there's stuff to do with that. I want to be able to silk touch the sea lanterns that are at all the astral sorcery places. But then what I'll do, since silk touch and looting are incompatible, is I will go ahead and I'm cooking up more slime crystals. Did I get them? I think I was cooking up more slime crystals. I don't know what I did with them. Oh, that's right. I need more. I did cook some up, and that's why I have 11 here to add to my 6 here. So I have 17. That's plenty to keep my slime pickaxe plenty healed up and repaired for a long time. But I don't want to blow 8 of them on a hammerhead and then have to try and keep both of them repaired until I actually get the presser and start turning some of this honey I've been collecting into slime. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Presser. So this is a Pam's Harvestcraft machine, It doesn't require power, which is nice. It requires a couple pistons. Pistons are a bit of a pain to make compared to usual in this mod pack because of the expertness, but you're able to steal a bunch of them from villages. So I already have a couple in my chest here. We now have plenty of iron, so we're going to go ahead and make this bad boy and start depressing. I sort of want to keep that somewhere near where I can, my beehives, where I can remember to just throw them in there as I pull stuff out of the beehive. So for those of you that haven't used this, the presser, let's go ahead and take a look at it. If we go to uses, basically the main thing it does is make like fruit juices and various other things like that, and fruit bait and other types of bait that you can use in ground traps, that you use up the bait to give you little animal products like meat and feathers and whatnot. So there's a variety of things you can make here. So as we start getting into more food and more cooking, we will definitely do that. The wax combs that we're getting from the apiaries turn into wax, which we can use for making candles, and we can also use for hardening the leather for our glider, which we can make as soon as we open up Forestry, a couple machines in Forestry. And also you can get, here's the recipe we'll be using. We'll take honey, we press the honeycomb and get honey, and then we press the honey and get slime ball and water. So that's the kind of stuff we'll be doing with this. And again, it doesn't take power, so it's a nice thing to get out of there. And we'll throw that in there. It's pretty quick as well. And so here we go. We're getting honey and wax. And when this is done, I'll take the stack of honey, move it up there to get slime and water. So that's a nice little thing. It can be a food source for you early in the game. It's a wax source for things like candles and your glider wings. Yeah, when we get to cooking, we'll be using that honey in a bunch of recipes for food, more complex food that covers our nutrition needs better and starts to ramp up the addition of extra hearts. So that's a cool little thing. So I'm thinking, what else do I want to accomplish here? We got the presser. The only other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to go ahead and get the coke oven started. So we, and I could do the sturdy casing gates as well. But for right now, we did make the coke bricks for our coke oven, but I have been distracted by other things and haven't actually set it up yet. In fact, I can't remember where I put the coke bricks. Let me pause while I look through things and figure out where I put those, and then we'll go set up our coke oven. Okay, I'm back. I found my coke bricks. I had already prepared a little hole in the wall to put them in. You can set them freeform. I think there are heaters and stuff you can make to speed them up, which require more room around them. And of course there's automation. But in my testing of this mod pack to see if this was something I wanted to do or not, I'm not super familiar with immersive engineering, but it seemed like by the time I got my blast furnace up and going, I already had like 3 stacks of coke, whatever it is. And so doing any kind of acceleration on this bad boy seemed unnecessary. And then by the time I needed even more steel, I was able to make powdered steel blend and use a mechanism furnace or some other type of furnace. So you just put the 3x3x3 down and you tap it in the middle with the hammer. I went ahead and sunk it a level just because why not? And then we're going to throw some coal in there. And so one of the problems I run into here is that liquid storage is not quite as easy in the expert mode as it is elsewhere or in other mods. The stone drums and the iron drums are more expensive and more of a pain. You do get one of these thermal expansion portable tanks for a reward, and it holds 32 buckets, which isn't bad. And you can just toss it up here, and as it fills up, it'll then drop down to here. And I think that makes it through. I think one stack of coal makes 32 buckets of creosote, so that works out sort of well. But I don't, other than making some treated wood, I don't have a ton of use for creosote right at the moment, and I'm not familiar enough with a lot of these industrial mods to know what else I'm going to need it for. But so I don't want to dump it out, so I need a way to collect more of it. And the stone drums. The stone drums require stone burnt, which means I need to get extra utilities up and running. So I'm a ways off from doing that, so that's not going to work out for me. However, making more of those portable bad boys that we got as a reward, they're not too bad. It's some glass, some copper, some redstone, some iron. We now make a ton of all of that stuff. So probably what I'll do off camera between this episode and next is make 2 or 3 more of these. And then when this one fills up, I'll just set it aside and throw in the empty ones there. Maybe I'll make another one and have some lava in it. Our lava is close enough. I'm not that worried about it. So speaking of which, I can delete that remove. So yeah, that's something we're going to do there. So we have a coke oven now, and we are making coal coke, and steel is a pretty heavy gating item, and the gate for steel is blaze powder. So probably real quick I'm going to run over to that desert and see if I can find any cinder pearls. And then if not, I'm going to start looking at going to the nether here soon because I want to get some steel moving. That being said, if we look at our book here, so we've got, I want to get forestry open because I really want to make the glider. And for the glider, let me just double check here. For the glider wings, we need hardened leather, which is that pressed wax that we're making upstairs right now. And we need impregnated sticks. The impregnated sticks we need to make in the carpenter from seed oil. And to get the seed oil, we need to make the squeezer. So if we take a look at, we're going to make sturdy casings to open forestry up. And then once we have those, we can make the carpenter and the squeezer and the clockwork engine to power them. So that's sort of our next sort of working through gates kind of things that we do. And once we got that, we can then make our glider. And I can stop bouncing around in these dumb slime boots. So one of the things I will definitely recommend, and this is again a tip from me having just played around a little bit, is that a lot of these gating items, you can see here, it's the this one requires basic machine casing. This one requires the sturdy casing or whatever it is. A lot of these are the core body of the machines that are in the mod. And so, for instance, here, sturdy casing, we're got a recipe and we're going to make 2. But I already know I'm going to use 2 of them up just to make the carpenter and the squeezer. And I'm going to need more of them. So I'm going to go ahead and double up this recipe and make 4 now. And the same thing is going to happen when I do some of these other things. Like when I do extra utilities and make a machine block, I know I'm going to need more than 1. So I'm going to end up trying to make, I might go ahead and do this. So here's some sturdy casings. I might do this and make, 6 of them. So think about that a lot. We have limited until you get up into like applied energistics or RF tools or something and start making a better inventory system. We're sort of stuck with chests and storage drawers. But these items here, these gating items, which are usually the basic blocks for the machines in that mod, really think about doubling up those recipes and making multiples of them. That's a tip that I am going to follow myself as we move through this. In fact, you can see I've already made 4 gears and 4 gears, 4 brass gears and 4 copper gears to double up this. And now that I remember that I have the opportunity to do this recipe with these, I might go ahead and triple this up and get even more sturdy casings, just to assist myself getting through these machine blocks and getting plenty of those. Anyway, that's enough of me babbling. I think this is a good place to cut it. I'm not sure how far we're going, but I don't want to make these videos too long or they take forever to upload to YouTube. So we're going to stop there, and I will see you next time. Bye.